Clap on, clap off.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Queer Peer Reviews. We review queer media, good, bad, and ugly. I'm your host, Jamie, and today with me is my devilish host, Bruce.
Here at Queer Peer Reviews, we review your favorites and not so favorites for media, going from comics, movies, and TV shows.
And on today's episode, I know it wasn't that long since we reviewed season 1, but we are now reviewing season 2 of Good Omens by Neil Gaiman. So after 4 years, we finally have season 2. It was a long wait, even though I watched it a little more recently.
Yeah, while people waited for 4 years, we only waited for about 2 months or so.
About 2 months.
So, but yeah, in that perspective though, it took a long time to get this next season. So,
and spoiler alert. It's gay.
It is very much gayer.
Yeah. So unlike season 1, we have more queer representation, and it's actually canonically queer now, with a few different elements that we'll talk about in a few. But for season 1, we only talked about how it's queer coded and beloved by the queer community, and now we have a little more reason to love it as a community now.
Yeah, definitely. We can safe to say that this show does not do any queer baiting, so it's props for that.
Yeah, I mean, even if we were, I guess, in a sense, queer baited, I would have been very happy with how the season turned out without that that ending.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would have there's still love. I feel like one of the recurring elements in this whole season is love, and there's many instances of love throughout the season.
Yeah, and just like I was in season 1, I also like how it always brings back other periods of time again with Aziraphale and Crowley.
Yeah.
And still builds up to more how connected they or how much the relationship is built upon.
And wasn't it the opening scene of episode 1 where we get more of a backstory of Crowley before he became a demon?
The first time they met, and it was for the Big Bang of the universe.
Yeah, he helped create the universe, and I think it was really funny because Crowley was like, oh, this universe is so beautiful and huge, and then Aziraphale was like, oh yeah, we're just placing the humans in this little thing, and guess what they're gonna do with the your universe? They're gonna look up at it and admire it. And he's like, what?
It's yeah, because no, are we not putting more into it? It's no,
Not
just
enough.
this one spot. I was
Wow.
It's all this work just to be looked at.
One of my favorite episodes was it's a throwback to season 1 when it's taking place in Germany, I think, with the Nazis and the bomb falls on the Nazis.
Oh yeah.
And then Crowley and Aziraphale go back, and Aziraphale winds up performing on the West End stage, magic tricks and stuff.
I it's crazy they even added more to that day as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the magic stage. And
that was really funny. I think it's really funny how the show even talks about how stupid both sides of heaven and hell are. The people who work there, just different things they say and don't realize about certain things. They're very
out of
clueless about
out of
Earth.
touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're massively out of touch. But yeah, the way they're like you said, as they are represented, they're they're just following this rule. They don't know what's going on. They don't know the context of everything. They just want to just follow oh, let's just do Armageddon. Let's just do that.
And then one of the things is whenever the angels came to visit them, they're here's a hot chocolate. You drink it.
Oh my god! And then that was one of my favorite characters. Pulled up Muriel.
Muriel is so sweet. I love Muriel. I love the addition of Muriel. She wasn't in season 1, was she?
No, this is a new character.
Yeah,
she was just I'm a human police officer.
What's your name? Constable Investigator. That's my name. I'm totally a human police officer. It's so funny, but I feel like this season was a lot more focused on a specific plot point, because I feel like season 1 had a lot of different plot points that weren't necessarily too important.
What I guess with the one theme of the Antichrist, but I get what you're saying. This one that was a lot more compacted into this one situation.
Yeah, we didn't have all these side characters that were oh, this person's important to this, but then in the end they're there for 5 minutes. But nonetheless, it was still I still enjoyed season 1, but I think season 2 is my favorite right now.
It is.
Mhm.
Another favorite scene of mine is when Aziraphale borrows Crowley's car,
Oh yeah, that was
and
really
then he
funny.
changes a bit. But
to yellow.
it's funny when you think about it that the car is also like a living entity itself.
Mhm.
So it was enjoying a better time with Aziraphale than it did with Crowley.
Yeah.
Because it was like being yellow, has sweet like.
And then Crowley calls him like, "What did you do to my car?
'Cause
It
he
was
feels
never
it.
yellow."
Because he feels it. I was like, it's not yellow.
Yeah, and the reason why Crowley and Aziraphale are separated is because Gabriel comes to Earth. He has all lost memories, and it's basically like Aziraphale trying to figure out like, what was he trying to figure out?
Oh, what the hell's going on with
Yeah,
Gabriel?
he was just trying to figure out what was going on, and Crowley is stuck babysitting Gabriel. But we also get this little subplot, which is another queer storyline. We have the coffee shop owner.
And the bookshop.
And the bookshop. No, not the bookshop.
Oh,
the
record store, yeah.
Yeah, the record store owner. We have these two women. I think the record store owner was like, had a crush on the coffee shop
And
owner.
the coffee shop owner had a very, very bad, like, toxic relationship with this, like, possessive. Like, we don't see her, but we see the text, and it's, like, super.
I really like how they had, like, the messages from the partner.
Yeah, I love the editing.
Like, crumpled
they do.
up paper.
Mm-hmm.
The editing and the shots in this season were really cool, too.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the little subplot with the two women is that Crowley and Aziraphale made a miracle happen, and they weren't supposed to, necessarily, for Gabriel.
Yeah, and the funny part, too, is when they do a miracle, it's almost like you got to write paperwork on this. You can't just...
Yeah. So to cover up the fact that they're hiding Gabriel, they're like, oh no, we use it to make these two humans fall in love.
And that's when we do get Muriel, because she has to watch them, but she's also just as clueless a bit of what's going on. Because like there was that one scene where like the angel was asking like, so what'd you find out? It's like, oh, not too much. They're very nice people. And I was like, okay. I was like, but did you hear their conversations? Like, no, they told me they were private.
Yeah, they went into another room, said it was private. I couldn't listen, so I didn't. Oh my god.
She's one of my favorite characters.
I
hope we see her again in season 3.
I hope so, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of instances in season 2 where like people make comments on Aziraphale and Crowley's like relationship, thinking that they're a couple, and like I think they get called like partners, and they're like, oh no, like we're not partners. And then there's this other part where somebody comments that Aziraphale had a naked man in his shop.
Oh yeah.
And Crowley's like, huh? And Aziraphale's like, no.
Yo.
Like he had that little panic.
It was like he saw the like hint of jealousy right there for a second. Like what?
Wait, what? Naked man in your shop? Is he still there? No. It's not what it looks like. And then when Aziraphale's in the car, that one, I think it was a demon that pops up in the car with him, and it's like, oh, like everyone always mistook you guys for like an item, but you're not his type anyway. But yeah, I was like, something's going on here. So are we gonna get some queer like content at the end of the season?
Yeah, and should we talk about it now?
Let's talk about it.
And then let's see, at the end the whole situation got resolved, but then and I also hate this dude now, Metatron.
Oh,
Yes.
Megatron.
I know, right? I'm like, it sounds
Metatron.
like Megatron. Like that. Why does that sound like the most non-religious name I've ever heard in my life? Metatron. Like he's supposed to be a robot, but no.
I thought he was gonna be God. Or like something. Yeah.
We won't get too much into it because you guys want to watch it, but it does like it ends on like this like it's like kind of like a sad finale for a minute, but it ends like in this like most like we got what we wanted, where Aziraphale and Crowley like this is a spoiler. It's like like Crowley goes in for the kids finally because he's like he was ignoring all what. You notice like he was ignoring everything Aziraphale was saying because he just wanted to say what he wanted
to say, that he was in love with him. Because I think, was it before that the shop owners went over to Crowley when he was alone, and when Aziraphale was
and that's what got Crowley thinking. It's like, all right, yeah, I talk to him.
Yeah, they're basically like, hey, like one of the things we realize is that you guys aren't saying what you really want to say to each other, so you guys need to have that talk, because like that's what we were lacking, because the shop owners don't get together, but they're talking. So that's what inspires Crowley to be like, okay, like I need to tell Aziraphale like the truth, like how I feel. Then it just turns into this whole sad conversation, heartbreaking conversation for Crowley at least. Like, we're not gonna spoil it, but Aziraphale does get offered this opportunity that Crowley doesn't necessarily want to join him with.
Yeah, and we saw like I said, that leads to the kiss, and then leads to this final shot of like Aziraphale choosing between doing this like going this opportunity or Crowley, and it just ends with him being and. Fuck that end credit scenes where it shows them like separately.
The two of them together.
And that's why I say there's a lot of theories going around about how that ending is, that Aziraphale might be just doing this just also protect Crowley. Because like there was a quote, if you notice, that when Metatron was ordering coffee, it's like do people usually go for death than coffee? Because it was almost because the
name of the shop was Give Me Coffee or Give Me Death.
So in a way, from what I've read, is that it was almost saying Aziraphale's like, either take this opportunity or I'll just write your name out of the book of life.
Oh yeah, because that was one of the consequences, that like if you got caught hiding Gabriel or something like that, you'd be written out of the book of life as if you never existed.
So yeah, it was literally like a life or death situation. So I would rather follow that because I would say that would be a great story for season 3. So, and I'm hoping season 3 happens sooner than 4 years later. Can we go for like 2 years, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, with everything going on, hopefully not that long.
It's the UK.
Oh, it is the UK.
So
Yay.
yeah, so get your ass moving.
Come on, BBC.
Get it going.
We're so thrilled that we finally have that canon queer representation in Good Omens, and like we said, like even before it was like confirmed queer, like obviously Crowley and Aziraphale loved each other, whether it was like platonic love or like romantic love, but now we know the truth. But like I can't wait to see where that kiss affects what happens in season 3, and if that relationship progresses into like they're finally like a couple or something. But my heart was broken at the end. It's like, we finally got the kiss.
I know, it's like, last night, it's like, did you see it?
But at what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost? Damn.
Somebody TikTok they saw immediately after that too.
Yeah, my TikTok was full of like Aziraphale and Crowley, like.
And you were just on my message. You were just like watching what I said.
I was just scrolling through all the things he was sending me. But yeah, let's get to our ratings. All right, so let's get to the ratings. First up, let's start with representation.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Yay. And for representation, we give it a 9.3.
I give it a 9.7.
Oh my god, combined.
Wow.
It's 19.
it's a number.
It's a number. Like I said, representation in season 2 has now like a lot better, as you said before, because now we have not just the coffee shop keeper and the record store owner, but we have the two main, which is Aziraphale and Crowley, which finally like confirmed what the relationship was finally.
Yeah.
And it was a very, it was just love.
Would you say that it's a slow burn? Was it a slow burn?
It was a slow burn, considering it took till season 2 to get the kiss.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it overall.
And I love that we're finally able to actually have the representation category, because I know for our previous episode, we just skipped right over representation because it wasn't confirmed queer. And this 9.7 is definitely well-deserved. I guess it's not a 10 because I'm hoping to see more next season.
Yeah, same here.
I feel like there's definitely potential for a 10 next season.
But if we would also talk about other representations, like when it comes to people of color and disabilities, that gets also a high number too, because Neil Gaiman was just like, anyone can be any character, and I think it did also a lot for other people as well. So I think I appreciate that. Yeah, so good on the show. Next up, queer comfort. And
so for queer comfort, I give it a 10.
9.5. I'm being extra with my decimals right now.
But yeah, the whole world of being comfortable with just like there was no like hatred towards like any like same-sex couples for anything. They were just all like supportive in a way, which is fun. Even though like
even like the angels and demons, just like they don't care. They're just like they're on their own thing.
Yeah, and the whole fact that like I keep saying season 1 was really beloved by like the queer community, and now that it's confirmed queer, just shows that we were able to love the show without it being queer.
And it's officially a part of the queer community.
Yeah, and it was already a high score for season 1, so
yeah,
I think without a doubt it bumps up a little more. We love our gay angel and demon.
That's so great. Please put them back together next season.
Please.
Please.
Next up, Originality.
And for Originality, we give it a... I give it
9.5.
9.1.
I'm sticking with my 9.5 because I believe that's what I gave it for last season. In terms of originality, it's still based off like the same thing, like the Bible and all those like different stories and stuff. And we just added some like extra twists to it.
I forgot my ratings.
You forgot your... yeah, to be honest, I looked back because I'm like, what do I want to give it? Because like this is our first time doing like a second video on a show.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't think they...
All I'm saying is, it's been high numbers for me, all right? That's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm, yeah, definitely high numbers all around.
Like we said before.
No further explanations.
We're just a Bible fan fiction. We love them.
We love our Bible fan fiction.
Next up, writing.
All right, so for writing, we give it 9.8.
9.3.
Hey. Yeah, season 1, I believe I also gave it a 9.5, but I think the writing in this season was much better, only because there weren't as many subplots. Like in season 1, we had like all those different characters that were supposed to like combine together to do whatever happened at the end of episode, like the last episode of season 1.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of that got lost, like why were these people important? But in this, it's focused on that whole thing of finding Gabriel and the war that happens because they're hiding Gabriel, plus like the whole backtracking to like their history together. And I thought that was really cool.
I also like how the just besides Zerful and Crowley, I like how the other characters were written, and especially like how the angels and demons were. It's like they're supposed to be like these almighty types of like mystical beings, but they're also just as like bit dim-witted a bit in some sense.
Like they created all these people, but they know nothing about them.
Yeah, like like it's kind of proves like they don't really like focus too much on it. They just focus on the events on Earth for anything.
And that whole other plot line that you got at the end of Gabriel and Beelzebub. That was
a twist for me, and it, the way his character was in the first like season, I would not expect him to like just be exactly like what. I know, but like he basically like did what Zerful was doing, was with Crowley now. It's like, oh well.
Exactly, yeah, and like just the whole like what they told us that happened in the last episode that related to what happened in episode 1, like the whole like matchbox, like what was the matchbox, like just all the callbacks to previous episodes in the season was really cool.
Lastly, overall.
And so for our overall feelings towards season 2 of Good Omens, we give it 9.5.
9.9.
Ooh.
I knew it. 9.9.
Yeah, I loved this season so much. I binged it in 2 days because, not gonna lie, I kind of forgot we were filming this episode 2, and then you called me, said you forgot, and I was like, But yeah, I binge watched it.
You talk shit to me. You hilarious.
We're going through a lot. As you can tell, we're in a different setup too. But yeah, I loved it. I loved all the different things they did with it. We finally got that kiss that we've been wanting since season 1. Yeah, it was great.
No, yeah, the humor. Also, like, still kind of like making jokes on like every religious event, like what they did with Job.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, oh, so he's God's favorite. It's like, yeah, but he's gonna burn everything he loves and owns. But if he faces the trials right, he'll get those. Like, why? Why? He's like, Penny's just like weird masochist. But yeah, But for good reason, I didn't give it a 0.1 because of that finale. Throws me off.
Broke our hearts.
It did.
It's okay. You guys could make up for it in season 3.
Yay!
Yay! We love our Bible fan fiction.
And hopefully it'll be ready sooner than 4 years.
All right, so let's get to our QPR total. Trayvon, hit us with that gay shit.
Well, Good Omens season 2 has garnered a 95.6 from you guys, making it gay plus.
Yay!
Well deserved indeed.
Very
yes.
well deserved.
And I feel like season 3 is gonna be even higher, if not the same.
I hope so.
But yeah, Good Omens season 2, check it out. If you haven't watched Good Omens as a whole, definitely watch the whole thing because it's only 6 episodes per season, so it's a very easy watch. You can binge watch it in the whole day.
Pretty much.
Do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Down below we have links to our social media and different things such as the Trevor Project. Yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.